Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War Unification cast this side of East Yorkshire. And today we've got a 1 versus 1 on Meeting of Minds. Playing off the side as the Space Marines, we've got Grindan. Playing around the side as the Orks, we've got Vrax. Vrax will be opening with triple Slugger Boys, a Grot Squad, Generator and a Boys Hut. Whereas Grindan is going to go for a Servitor, triple Scout Marines and a Chapel Barracks. So here we are indeed, boys and girls. This is the latest edition of Unification. I finally downloaded the patch after many hours because my internet is shite and slow. And yeah, I was planning on doing today's video as the update video, you know, going for the patch notes, picking out the interesting things, and doing all that stuff like I did a little while ago. But I wrote the scripts, well, what passes for a script in Mr. Landshark Land, and by the time I would record all that, do the editing, it would be like midnight, and I, for one, like to go to bed at a reasonable time, because I'm 32 years old, young man and or woman watching this. And when you get to my age, you know, you need your beauty sleep. Otherwise, you get those blue bags underneath your eyes, and everyone will think, oh my goodness, you look like a zombie, and that will scare the kids at school. So, there. So yeah, so realistically, these guys, I mean, thank goodness Grindan and Vrax sent this game in, because the Orks and Space Marines don't have much to show for in this patch of Unification. Essentially, pardon the phrasing, but the Ork knobs are a little bit smaller, so make the comments what you will below. Something, way, they've gone to the shower, it was cold, and now they're all shriveled up. And the Space Marines, the Devastators get a Graviton gun, which is more of an aesthetic kind of thing, I think. And Gabriel Angelos gets his Thunderhammer back. I assume someone in the previous patch stole it, but he's got it back now, and everything's okay. Anyway, we're going to see a big mech here, and he's not actually going to go poking around. He's going to be staying in the base at the moment, playing a bit defensive. We have got a squad of Space Marines mooching on over and seeing what they can do. Grot's taking a few bottle of rounds to the face, but they'll be fine. The big mech coming in to defend his little uns, giving them the old backhand to keep them proper and keen away from his stuff. Got some scouts coming on over to attempt to shimmy and shake away into his business, but again, the big mech, he is basically being Mother Swan right now. Anyone gets near his babies, there we go, takes down one scout. About to take down another if he stays around, which he probably won't do, as Tactical Marines attempting to show him away. Surprised that Grindan's not gone for a Force Commander. You have gone for a Force Commander. Here he is. Force Commander is able to absolutely smack around that big mech. No questions asked. And now that he's got his teleport down, he's not exactly going to be the most mobile of dudes, so we'll probably want to avoid those kinds of engagements. Though thankfully, some Slugger Boys forming a nice defensive wall against him. So actually the what do you call baby geese? Goslings? The Ryan Goslings come to defend the big mech, although the big mech is taking quite the pounding here. But so is the Force Commander. So it might be tit for tat here, as the big mech is about to be slain down. Also, backhanding a few lads out the way as well. Plenty of scouts providing some more supporting fire. Potential squad wipe for the Slugger Boys as they attempt to run away. No, manages to get one extra friend in there as well. The reduced morale, increasing their movement speed to get them away quick, sharpish. And yeah, Vrax, are you just going for quick tier 2? Is that your plan? No, you haven't built up a war banner yet. I was assuming that that's the reason why you let the big mech die, and you've only gone for Slugger Boys so far because you're planning to build up 1 million war banners. Although, in saying that, your listing posts are all being upgraded, so I assume maybe a quick economic boost, if I can get my words out, to then transition into more war banners. Space Marines in tier 1 don't have amazing building bashing potential, especially with the Force Commander quite low on health, so he won't be able to tank all the damage from the Ork structures. So there we go, just Vrax keeping it smooth and light in the early stages of the game, as the Space Marines aren't really pushing too far inside the base, and yet a war banner outside a upgraded listing post. Fresh big mech coming out, so you could potentially smack that Force Commander upside the head. Was that a song by Will Smith? Who upside your head? Something like that? I can't remember. Never a fan of rap and or R&B, if they are indeed different genres, which in my head both sound the same. Double war banners on the front lines. Okay. Vrax putting all his eggs in one basket. Questionable life choices, but it might translate into a bigger, badder tier 2 if he can keep those war banners alive. And he ends up upgrading all of his listing posts, so definitely just hoping that the Space Marines don't catch on to his plans. Our Space Marines doing for stuff? They've gone for an armory and more Tactical Marines, so big, heavy investment in tier 1 from Grindan here. Might live to regret it. Pile of guns on the way. And are we seeing any shooter boys whatsoever? No, we're going to see more Slugger Boys, so I assume Heavy boy armor research. Maybe, I mean, I'd love to see a few flamers here. AoE damage, break the morale. Always good stuff if you're going up against a massive infantry that vastly outnumber you. Grot's coming in for additional bits and bobs of damage. Force Commander has been surrounded and has been, there we go, a little bit of revenge. Gives him the old spankaroonie and then throws him aside like a rag doll. Beautiful stuff to see. The Orks may have smaller knobs now, but they still have the same size hands to give them you all the old punch across the chops. More tacticals moving on over. Shooter boys are now on the field somewhere. The Orks looking for a scrap now. Now that a Force Commander is back and... I mean, I assume we're going to rebuild him. You're not? Okay. Well, Shooter boys are now out. They're going for their big shooters. So Slugger boys just being a bit of a mischief. Although some frag grenades from the Tactical Marines. There we go, doing a fair chunk of damage. Also knocks these guys down. They can still take damage while being flat on their backside, so very nice way to repel these guys. Shooter boys going to hang around in the heavy cover. But even the heavy cover isn't going to protect you from 3 whole tactical squads are fully reinforced to maximum numbers. Plenty of frag grenades to be thrown around, although I think we've seen all 3 frag grenades being thrown at the moment, but a relatively low cooldown rate on those frag grenades. And yeah, the Shooter boys have no other choice but to just run away at this point. Although quite a weird retreat. There we go. Big Mech saves some of them for thinking about coming back on over, but the Space Marines can now just stand out here. And if they stand here, will they be in range of these war banners? Maybe potentially, especially when they get those missile launchers on the go, if that's what they're planning to. It would make sense that if you've invested so much in all these tactical marines, you may as well go for a whole bunch of upgrades for them. Yeah, they're going to go for a plasma pistols upgrade. Going to send that Force Commander back out onto the field. Current economy is 134, pardon me, and 30, compared to 104 and 20. And are the Orks in tier 2 at the moment? No, not quite, but they are getting even more war banners on the front lines. So that will take them up to tier 2 in no time flat. They will need 1 extra war banner after that one, but who's counting? Gonna go for some flamers. Okay. I would assume we would have gone for heavy bolters or potential plasma guns, but then again, I suppose the only heavy infantry that you really need to worry about for the Orks at this stage of the game is their knobs. Which, no more jokes, stop it, grow up.
We stand ready.
God, I'm surrounded by immature youth here. I can hear you snickering in the back. Calm down. But yeah, so I forgot what point I was going to make there. Over then the scouts, they're just chilling out. They could go for some extra weapons as well. Chaplain on the way. Yeah, this is just going to be just really bulky tactical play going on here. Stick the Chaplain in there for health regen. Give them the upgrades that they so desire. I would love to see a missile launcher. I mean, ideally, you'd probably want one squad to have double missile launchers and keep them on the back lines. And then let one of these guys have an extra flamer on the front lines, maybe. Would the heavy bolters, especially if you get the heavy weapons upgrade to get 4 of them in a squad, would that out DPS the triple big shooters? I suppose that depends on if the Orks have gone for their blastier research, which they are currently doing. So it'd be an even keel. But the Tactical Marines do have more armour, so that might balance that out. Either way, Grots, they're coming out for a fistful of damage, but they will die before they're even able to get into close combat. Poor lads, but they tried, and that's the main thing. This thing post been shot down, but the Orks now coming in for a bit of a flanking manoeuvre here. The Space Marines will have to reposition themselves. In fact, no, they're not repositioning. They're just going to engage in glorious hand-to-hand combat by the looks of things. Moving on in, but the Orks have got such a number of units or models in their ranks now that they are massively resistant to any kind of morale damage here. That's the one disadvantage of trying to break the morale of Orks when there's too many of them. They just love it. Not going to scare them away from a scrap this size. Space Marines falling foul quite quickly by those big shooters, actually. Frag grenade smack bang in the middle of those lads there, reducing the overall DPS for a brief moment. Chaplain standing a little bit away from the boys, actually. Not feeling all... I mean, maybe he's a bit work shy, bless him. You know. I mean, is like that one religious kid in class, isn't he? Always wanting to talk about the Bible and faith and stuff. Everyone just keeping a close, well, a far distance away from him. Either way, we've got some rhinos. Always a good idea for the Master Space Marines. Helps them reposition everywhere and anywhere. We've now got the knobs. Have you been reduced in size, knobs? Yes. Yes, you have. You're not as grotesquely large as you were before. A little bit bigger than the big mech. Now a medium mech. In the grand scheme of things, critical location being captured in the center, giving those Orks all the more vision. But how much vision does that give you in this space? Yep, you can see all these lads over here. So you know what they're going to do before they do it. I'm going to focus on the listing post down over here. Rhino transport moving forward. It's now depositing some lads, but I mean, that's a lot of big shooters just firing straight at them. Chaplain shouting away, reducing the movement speed of anyone nearby. Tank busters firing away at the Rhino transport. Big mech teleporting around the backside, attempting to tie up those sniper rifles. Wonderful idea where they're sniper rifles, but no one ever expects the big mech just leaving things and teleporting away. I mean, some people would just leave the big mech inside the, well, not inside the knobs, pardon my French, but it would, you know, it would be inside that unit to teleport all those guys along. But I do quite like how the knobs are now tying up the tactical marines, and the big mech are trying to keep the scout marines at bay. Also, with his commander armor, he will take reduced damage from sniper rifles, so pretty good going. Also, big zap from the big mech, keeping that Rhino transport in place. Now the space marines have been slow but surely thrown backwards. Rhino transport just going to stay there, minding his own business. That's just such a large amount of Orks there. Now gone for their plasma pistols and plasma guns as well, so should do them a good favour against the knobs. You've gone for your health upgrades. Doesn't look like it. You should have that shiny bit on your shoulder pauldrons, unless that's changed from vanilla. Can't quite remember. I'm running on the assumption that is what he has gone for. Bigger generator been placed on the top side as the Orks have captured the central mass of stuff. So what's your plan then? We've got a fairly decent amount of economy on the go. Yeah, war gear balanced level 2. So that, right, so that does not give them the shiny pauldrons. They'll get more health. Snipers taking care of those tank busters quite nicely. So, skull probe on the front lines. Bomb squad teleporting around the front. Bit risky, as they are currently a bit far away from all these shooter boys here. They've been taken care of. Also, morale being broken by the Razorback Macarius. Yeah, their numbers just falling quite swiftly. Also attempting to go for some big choppers. Do like, I mean, you know, respect to the big chopper upgrade. You don't normally see it. Massively increases the damage output for them, but I mean, what, at 25 blue and 20 green reinforcement rate? I suppose you have got the bigger generator. Quite a powerful economy, so if you've got it, why not? But falling back, Space Marines do manage to take out quite a sizable amount of the Ork population here. Knobs, now only one dude remaining. Does manage to get his axe before them being cast down to the ground. Yeah, I think as wonderful as those upgrades could be. Oh no, never mind, they've got more knobs. Yep, you can't keep those guys down for very long. I suppose as far as an elite tier 2 unit goes, they are quite cheap in the grand scheme of things. Big generator has been spotted, will be focused down. And a relatively small amount of Space Marines now, with all their upgrades, able to hold back a vastly superior number of Orks on the far-flung sides. What's going on in the base at the moment? We're seeing a Mega Armor Knob. Also got the mech shop for the war track. It's gone for the bomb chucker for AoE damage and knockback as well. Space Marines there. Oh, was that? Oh, you are some. Hold on. You are some sneaky tank busters hiding in the midst of everyone. Mega Armor Knob charging in. Only one singular Mega Armored lad there. That's okay. I mean, what? It's cost 100 blue and 75 green to reinforce. Quite expensive, but he's got commander armor and a remarkable amount of DPS to bring to the forward. Big mech has not been reinforced. Orks are just rubbing their faces against the front lines of the Space Marines, but they're holding firm, baby. It might not be Imperial Fist, but the yellow fellows, and they're holding the way forward here. Big mech now brought back over. Razorback or Rhino, whatever that was, is dead now. And the Mega Armor Knobs are just in the middle of everything, along with the regular knobs. Force Commander and the Chaplain getting involved. And I don't think this is, I don't think this has been a favourable engagement for the Orks at all. But don't get me wrong, you've got plenty of green money left, but like, you're going to spend it on. You're going to spend it on a killer can of all things. Okay, alright. Why a killer can? Well, I suppose it's a killer can, not a killer can't, so maybe he'll be able to make the difference. Nob's going to activate their... Well, the Mega Armor Nobs activating their speed, faster, go, quicker ability. Gets them out of the damage zone. They might actually... Yeah, they've managed to zap themselves here. The Killer Can, not quite as cool as the Death Dread. Double War Tracks, or War Trucks even. I hate that they're called so similar things. It really bothers me. Yeah, the Killer Can. I mean, at the moment, do you have any missile launchers? You do have one. So we'll gradually bring them down. Yeah, such a hodgepodge unit composition from the Orks here. Don't think it's going to earn you any favours against Space Marines, but Killer Can chasing down the Space Marines, especially that squad with the... Oh no, I thought I was going to go for the missile launch squad then. That would have made sense for the Killer Can, but I suppose whoever's closest gets the bullet. Big Mech and Force Commander still going toe to toe. They're not, you know, they're still feeling quite that way inclined. One thing to bear in mind as well, that Vrax got that countdown victory on the go. Space Marines will have to get a decap on one down here and one up here, but looking a little bit close for comfort. Do the Space Marines even realise what's going on? Old Trixie Orks, very cunning. I suppose Vrax here is sat here thinking, right, okay, well, I can't win with this unit composition. Massively outnumbered, but if I could just distract them with random bullshit, then maybe that will keep them sweet and sane. And I think that's exactly what's going on here. Space Marines need to do something now that they're nowhere near. Far flung. We've even got Slugger Boys down here. Grindan throwing out some sad faces. Sad faces indeed. Relatively short game. But I mean, Grindan, if it wasn't for the countdown victory, he would have probably won that just by sheer numbers and size and his unit composition. You know, there's old Trixie Orks. You know, that, I mean, I guess you could say that the knobs are much smaller, but they're still just as distracting. So, haha, there we go. So yeah, odd game, but there we go. That is the way, and that is the first game for this current patch indeed. So like I say, I will do some sort of update video. It might be professionally edited. It might be me talking, giving you a slideshow presentation or something. Who knows what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something. So cheers, boys, for sending this game into the Discord. And if you want to support the channel, have a look at the old Patreon. £1 a month gets you once a game a week. And there is also a Discord where Discord things happen. Linked in the description as always. My name's Mr. Landshark. Pleasure's always never short. And I will see you in a bit. Peace.